3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so good evening, everyone. Tonight, I want to begin with a question. Have you ever walked into an organization and before anyone said a word to you, you knew something wasn't right? Maybe it was a school. Maybe it was a business. Maybe it was a church. Maybe it was a government office. Maybe it was an hospital. Nobody had explained anything to you. You simply felt it. People weren't smiling. Conversation stopped when someone important walked into the room. Staff avoided eye contact. Doors remained closed. People spoke in whispers. Ideas stayed inside people's head. Nobody laughed. Nobody challenged anything. Everyone seemed careful, not professional careful. Now here's the question. Who created that atmosphere? Was it the furniture? The building? The policies? Or is it the budget? And my response to that is no. None of those things created that atmosphere. Culture always has fingerprints. And more often than not, those fingerprints belong to leadership. Because organizations don't become healthy by accident. And they don't become unhealthy by accident either. Culture is something that is created. One conversation at a time. One decision at a time. One leadership interaction at a time. That's why tonight's conversation isn't really about organization. It's about us as leaders. Because broken leadership eventually breaks culture. So welcome to Leadership Unscripted. Tonight's conversation is called, You Can't Build a Healthy Organization with Unhealthy Leaders. So let's begin honestly. No names. Don't call any names. No organizations. Just answer this question. Have you ever worked in an unhealthy organization? Yes or no? Have you ever worked in an unhealthy organization? Yes or no? Welcome, Gemini Queen. Have you ever worked in an unhealthy organization? Just type yes or no. Have you ever worked in an organization that was just toxic? It wasn't healthy. Type yes or no. You're not calling any name. You're just typing yes or no. If you've worked in an organization that is unhealthy, that was unhealthy. So I see that nobody want to answer. It seems as if we're shy tonight. We're shy tonight. Okay, so let me continue. So let me ask you something even more important. Not worked. I am working in one now. Okay. So you're working in one now. Okay. No. All right. Now let me ask you something even more important. What made it unhealthy? Is it the leader? Is it the people? What made that organization unhealthy? Is it fair? Is it too much politics? Micromanagement? Blame? Poor communication? Disrespect? Favoritism? Distrust? No appreciation? Is it any of those things that cause the organization to be unhealthy? Now notice something. When you ask someone what causes an organization to be unhealthy, nobody will say the building. Nobody will say the building. Nobody will say the computers. All of what you stated, but continues because the leader allows it. Okay? So nobody will say the computers. Nobody will say the budget. Nobody will say the parking lot. Most people will say the leader or the people in the organization. But more eyes and fingers will be pointed at the leader because the leader shaped the culture of the organization. Leadership. So because culture is experienced through relationships, and relationships are heavily influenced by the people leading them. So everything falls back on the leader. So can I suggest something tonight? One of the biggest mistakes organizations make is trying to solve cultural problems without addressing leadership health. On a flight, saw 2 happy readers. Really? You need to take pictures, sir. You need to take pictures. You need to snap pictures. You need to take picture. So without addressing leadership health, think about that. A school introduces a new behavior policy, but nothing changes. A company rewrites its values. Nothing changes. A business spends thousands on team building activities, but nothing changes. Do you know why? Because policies don't lead people. People lead people. What did I say? Policies don't lead people. People lead people. Welcome, India. Tap the live while you listen. Please tap the live for me. While you listen, tap and listen. Tap the live and listen, and make sure you share the live. Good night, India. So people lead people. So you can, as a leader, you can print the word respect in bold on every wall in your building. But if leaders speak disrespectfully, people won't remember what is on the wall. They'll remember the conversation. You can write integrity. You can write trust. You can write excellence on every single strategic plan. But if leadership behaves differently, culture will always believe behavior over branding. That's because culture isn't built by what leaders announce. It's built by what leaders repeatedly demonstrate. Now I want you to think back. We're going to reflect now. Think back to the healthiest organization you've ever been part of. What made it different? So talk to me. Think back to the healthiest organization you've ever been a part of. What made it different? Was it good leadership? Was it the team? Because we already established that it can't be the building. It can't be the policies. Because buildings and policies don't lead people. People lead people. And there is no perfect institution. There will never be a perfect organization. Conflict will exist. But the people on the team, leaders know how to have difficult conversations. And because communication is effective, those conflicts are always solved. Welcome, Tracy. Healthy organizations aren't those without problems. They're organizations where problems are handled in healthy ways. People spoke honestly. Leaders listened. Mistakes became opportunities to learn. People trust each other. And there is accountability. There is compassion. And those things will make a difference between a healthy organization and an unhealthy organization. The healthy leadership doesn't eliminate problems. Healthy leadership changes how people respond to problems. So I'm going to now share a scenario. Welcome, Monty. Thank you for joining the live. If you're not following this platform, ensure you click follow. Ensure you share this live and tap on the screen and give me some likes. Thank you very much. So imagine 2 schools. Both have 500 students. Both have experienced teachers. Both have similar budgets. Both follow the same national curriculum. On paper, They're almost identical. Now imagine walking into school A. Teachers keep classroom doors closed. Staff avoid conversations with leadership. Nobody volunteer ideas. Meetings end quickly. Everyone agrees. Nothing changes. Now imagine school B. Teachers are collaborating. Laughter fills the corridor. People respectfully challenge ideas. Staff willingly stay after meetings because conversations matter. Innovation is everywhere. My question to you: what is the main difference between those two schools? And which one would you prefer to work in? Is it school A or school B? I'm going to go out on a limb and say I would rather work in school B. But I want you to tell me which school you would rather to work in and why. Just tell me why. I would rather to work in school B. I love working in an environment that isn't stiff. I love to work in an environment where people collaborate. I love to work in an environment where peace reigns, where people are held accountable, where people are free to speak their mind in a respectful manner, where communication is effective. That's the organization I love to work in. Nobody enjoys working in an organization where they are afraid of leadership. And when leadership introduces something, everyone is afraid to challenge. Everyone is afraid to ask questions. You just go work with it. Whether or not you know it's going to fail, whether or not you have better ideas, because leadership introduces it, you just go with it. That cannot be healthy. It cannot be healthy emotionally and socially. It can't be healthy. That's stifling. Now let's be honest. Many organizations spend years trying to improve their culture. They hire consultants. They rewrite policies every year. They develop strategic plans. They change logos, introduce new initiatives. But none of those things are wrong. Don't get me wrong. None of those things are wrong. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Here is the uncomfortable truth. If unhealthy leadership remains, every improvement eventually reaches a ceiling. They won't go anywhere. They will not go anywhere. Leadership needs to change first. And I'm not talking about firing the leader. I'm talking about the way leadership operates. The example leadership set. Are they going to ignore certain behavior that is not acceptable? Or are they going to hold everyone accountable? Are they going to be fair? Are they going to build an organization where people feel free to talk and people feel free to share ideas and ask questions and collaborate? If leadership is not providing those opportunities, the organization will always stifle. Because people don't follow posters. They follow people, and culture follow character. Always. That's why leadership cannot ask. Leaders cannot ask, how do I fix the culture? Before asking, how healthy am I? So we want leaders who are reflective practitioners. We want leaders who are able to sit and look at how they operate. Look at how they treat people. Look at how they communicate with people. Look at how they make people feel and change it to ensure that they are healthy leaders before they can lead healthy organizations. If leadership is unwilling to do that, the organization will forever struggle. Here's one of the greatest leadership lessons I've ever learned. Here's it. The emotional health of a leader is contagious. What did I say? The emotional health of a leader is contagious. Think about it. A calm leader usually creates calmer teams. A humble leader creates teachable organizations. A fearful leader creates fearful employees. A defensive leader creates defensive managers. A blaming leader creates blame throughout the organization. A generous leader creates generosity because leadership produces itself, whether intentionally or unintentionally. So people don't simply listen to leaders, they absorb them. And that's why becoming a healthier leader may be the greatest investment you'll ever make in your organization. The people in your organization feed off your energy. Have you ever walked inside of a classroom and the teacher is calm, the teacher is quiet, the demeanor is quiet, the teacher doesn't shout at the children, and you realize those classrooms are always very calm? And when you walk into some classroom where the teacher shout and the teacher is loud, the children feed off that energy. Because everyone wants to see who's the loudest. It's the same thing in organizations. The people in the organizations feed off the energy of the leader. So if you have a leader who accepts anything, if you have a leader who takes any and anything, if you have a leader who doesn't push you to do your best, if you have a leader who doesn't who doesn't require and set high expectations, how do you think that the members on the team what do you think the members on the team will do? They're not going to stress themselves either. They're going to give you what you want. So if you aim for mediocre, that's what they're going to give you. If your expectations is high, whatever your team produces for you is going to be of high expectations. Because guess what? The team feed off the energy of the leader. So if you have a giving leader, if you have a caring leader, if you have a leader who wants to see people grow, you'll have a caring environment. But if you have a leader who they're always blaming people. They talk down to people. They humiliate people. The same energy will be filtered throughout the organization. So remember, if you are a leader on the line, remember, the people you lead feed off your energy. Now, I'd like everyone watching tonight to finish this sentence. The healthiest leader I ever worked for always, I'm going to talk. I'm going to give the first word. The healthiest leader I ever worked for always encouraged me. What's one thing you can say about the healthiest leader you've ever worked with? What's one characteristic? Tell me one of your good characteristics. So the healthiest leader I ever worked for always encouraged me. Let me hear one person tell me something about the healthiest leader they've ever worked with. So a healthy leader will encourage the employees, encourage people on the team. They want to see the team do well. They want to motivate people. Let me hear from one person in the life. What's one thing a healthy leader has ever done for you? What's one characteristics of a healthy leader? Let me hear from somebody in the live. We have I'm seeing 6 people on the live. Let me hear somebody. What's one thing a healthy leader does? And I gave the first word. I said encouraged. Good. Welcome, Donna Williams. Welcome to the live. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining Leadership Unscripted. Tonight we're talking about healthy and unhealthy leadership, and how unhealthy leadership can damage institutions and organizations. So Don, I'm going to ask you to share the live, invite a friend, and ask that friend to invite a friend. And if you're not following this platform, Leadership Unscripted, please click that plus button and follow this platform. I'll do the same. Welcome, Monique. Thank you for joining. So healthy leaders, they listen. Welcome, DJ Rome. They listen. DJ Rome, please share this live. And thank you for joining. Please share this live. And if you've not followed this platform, please click that plus button and follow this platform. I'll do the same. Thank you for joining Leadership Unscripted. Our topic for tonight, we're talking about healthy and unhealthy leaders. So now I'm going to move on to some of the healthy traits of good leaders. They listen. They encourage. They trust people to do their job. They stay calm. They admit mistakes. They serve others. They're servant leaders. They will protect the team. Welcome, Shorty. Thank you for joining the live. They protect the team. They look out for people. Thank you, Dr. P, for that chime. Thank you very much for that gift. People rely and remember them. When you walk away from a conversation with them, you leave feeling refreshed and empowered. That leader is never too busy to hear you out. That leader asks how you are doing before asking you about the work, because they care about your mental health. Welcome, Anna. Thank you for joining the live. Thank you so very much. Welcome, Shay. So people rarely remember healthy leaders because they had all the answers. They remember them because of how they made them feel. If as a leader you allow people around your team to feel valued, if your team know you trust them, you respect them, they will remember you forever for that. So I'm going to give you two scenarios. Rachel Reed, thank you for joining. Please share the live, Rachel. Shay, please share the live as well. If you have not followed this platform, please click that plus button. Follow this platform. I'll do the same at the end of this live. Follow this platform. Or topic for tonight, we're talking about healthy and unhealthy leaders. Share the live and ask a friend to invite a friend. Thank you very much, Rachel, for joining this platform. Shay, please click that plus button as well. Thank you for joining Leadership Unscripted. Now I'm going to be sharing two scenarios. So imagine two CEOs. Both made the same mistakes, resulting in a major project fail. The first CEO immediately begins asking, who's responsible? People become defensive. Departments blame each other. Trust disappears. The second CEO gathers a team and she says, let's understand what happened. We're going to take responsibility. We're going to learn. Nobody hides information. People speak honestly and solutions emerge. Which organization do you think will become the strongest? Is it organization A or B? Let me hear from you. Is it organization A or B? Will it be the organization where, because the project failed, the leader seek to cast blame and everybody become defensive and they're blaming one department is blaming the next? Or is it the organization where the leader says, let's understand what happened. We're going to take responsibility as a team and we're going to learn and grow together? Which organization do you think will grow? I'm going for the second organization, where there's no blame. When there's failure in an organization, if the leaders start blaming people without having conversation, that's a problem. That's a problem. As a leader, you cannot want to always live in the glory. But when the team fail, you start pointing finger. That's unhealthy. That is unhealthy. Very unhealthy. So I want to leave you with this thought. Organizations don't become toxic overnight. They don't. Organizations neither do they become healthy overnight. So they don't become toxic overnight, and they don't become healthy overnight. Culture grows little by little, conversation by conversation. What did I say? Organizations don't become toxic overnight, neither do they become healthy overnight. Culture grows little by little, conversation by conversation. That's how you grow and build a positive culture. The culture grows decision by decision, reaction by reaction, through every meeting, through every difficult conversation, every act of humility, through every apology, every decision made under pressure is teaching people what kind of organization they're really a part of. Because culture isn't what leadership says. It isn't. Teacher Karen, thank you for joining. Culture isn't what leadership says. Culture is what leadership repeatedly tolerates, repeatedly rewards, and repeatedly model. So if you tolerate inconsistency, that ultimately becomes your culture. People will think it's okay. If you don't set a standard and you accept anything from your team, that becomes your standard. So culture is what leadership repeatedly tolerates, repeatedly reward, and repeatedly models. That is how culture is formed. I'm at church rally, so I'm on and off. No problem, Dr. P, no problem. So if you're on the live, I want you to write this down. An unhealthy leader can write healthy values on paper. Let me go again. An unhealthy leader can write healthy values on paper, but people will always believe the behavior they experience more than the words they read. So as a leader, you can have the biggest ambition. You can write as much as you want. Oh, this team is trustworthy. We work together. We trust each other. People don't care what you write or what you say. They watch your actions. What you do carry more power. Emma, thank you for joining. Emma, please share the live for me. Please share the live. And those who are on the live, make sure you're tapping the screen. So an unhealthy leader can write healthy values on paper, but people will always believe the behavior they experience more than the words they read. Because organizations don't become what leaders intend. They become what leaders consistently model. Welcome, Keisha. Welcome, Vaya. Thank you for joining the live. Welcome. Thank you for joining the live. Make sure you're sharing the live. And make sure those who are on the live, I need to see you tapping the screen. I'm not seeing those fingers working. Thank you very much. Thank you for the heart, Keisha. Thank you very much. So I'm going to reiterate tonight's topic. You can't build a healthy organization if the leader is unhealthy. So I said something that I believe every leader should write down and reflect on. Organizations rarely become healthier than the people leading them. Organizations rarely become healthier than the people who are leading them. Think about that for a moment. If a leader struggles to trust people, welcome, Jackie. Thank you for joining the live. If a leader struggles to trust people, the organization eventually struggles to trust. If a leader refuses accountability, the organization slowly learns to avoid accountability. If a leader lives in fear, the organization begins making fearful decisions. Because leadership doesn't simply manage the culture. Leadership models the culture. And whether we realize it or not, people are always asking one question. What kind of behavior gets rewarded here? What did I say? People are always asking this question. What kind of behavior gets rewarded here? Not what's written in the handbook. Serena Norma, welcome. Not what's written in the handbook. Not what's printed on the website. What actually happens every single day. Welcome, Maple. Because culture is never built during annual retreats. Culture is built in ordinary moments. One conversation, one meeting, one difficult decision, one leader at a time. So let's begin with a difficult question. I'm going to ask you a difficult question. The fastest way to destroy trust in an organization is what? What's the fastest way to destroy trust in an organization? Tell me one thing. Welcome, Nicky B. What's the fastest way to destroy trust in an organization? I'm going to tell you one. Broken promises. Share people business to others. Exactly, Nicky B. That can destroy trust in an organization. Broken promises. Nicky B says share people business to others. Micromanagement. Because people start believing you don't trust them to do the job. Dishonesty. Favoritism. Poor communication. Lack of respect. Demeaning others. Thank you, Mandy. Blaming people. Now let me ask another question. Can any of those problems solve themselves? No. None of those problems can solve themselves. None of those. And that's why healthy organizations begin with healthy leaders. Because the team feed off the leader. The leader shape the culture of the organization. Always remember that. So can I suggest something tonight? Leaders reproduce themselves. Think about that. Leaders reproduce themselves. Think about that. Not biologically. Not biologically, of course. But behaviorally. Welcome, Raheem. If the leader constantly blames others, managers begin blaming others too. JFG, welcome and thank you for joining. Make sure you share the live and tap the screen. Thank you very much for joining Leadership Unscripted. Our topic for tonight, we're talking about healthy and unhealthy leaders. If the leader constantly blames others, managers begin blaming others. Teachers begin blaming parents. Departments begin blaming each other. Eventually, blame becomes the culture. But imagine something different. Imagine a leader who says, the responsibility begins with me. Watch what happens. Managers begin taking ownership. Teachers begin solving problems together. Departments collaborate instead of competing. One leader's emotional health begins influencing hundreds of people. And that's why leadership isn't simply about influence. Leadership is multiplication. Whatever lives inside you eventually spreads throughout the organization. And that's why when you look at some organizations, if you have a leader who is top tier, if you have a leader who sets high expectations, if you have a leader who only want excellence, who set the bar so high, you're going to find that eventually the entire team start living through those expectations, start operating through those expectations. But if you have a fenke leader who doesn't really care, who accepts anything, they don't really care. They're not creative, they're not innovative. That organization will mirror what the leader does. So the leadership in any organization is very, very important. So imagine a company facing its most difficult financial year. Budgets are tight. Carlin Davidson, thank you for joining. So imagine a company facing its most difficult financial year. Budgets are tight. Pressure is high. People are anxious. The CEO gathers everyone together. The first CEO walks into the room angry. He says, if targets aren't met, there will be consequences. Nobody asks any questions. Nobody share concerns. Renice Gordon, thank you for joining. People leave frightened. Now imagine another CEO. Same financial challenges, same budget, same pressure. But she walks into the room and says, these are difficult times, but we are going to face them together. I need your ideas, I need your honesty, and I promise to communicate openly with you. Which organization do you think people will run and work together to take out of that difficulty? Is it the first one A or is it B? Is it A or B? Which organization do you think will come out of that difficulty, that financial difficulty, the earliest? Has to be B. Because nobody is operating in fear. The leader get the team together and she's asking for their expertise. She's going to pull their ideas together. She's going to be honest with them. She's going to communicate openly with them so they know exactly what's happening. They know when difficult decisions are coming. So people, they're not anxious and they're not operating in fear. They know what's coming. They always know what's coming next. And that is an organization people want to work in, where they feel safe. So many organizations believe culture is created during orientation. It isn't. A one-day orientation cannot create your culture. Culture is created the first time someone makes a mistake. Think about that. A new employee makes an error. Everyone watches. What happened next? Are they embarrassed? Or are they coached? Are they blamed? Or are they developed? Are they publicly criticized or privately supported? That single moment teaches every employee something, not about policy, but about culture. People don't discover organizational values by reading them. They don't. They discover them by watching leadership respond under pressure. Because pressure reveals the culture, and culture often reveals leadership. And here's something I've learned after years as a leader. Healthy leaders create psychological safety, not comfort. Healthy leaders create psychological safety, not comfort, but safety. And there's a difference. Comfort means nobody's challenged. Psychological safety means people can challenge ideas. They cannot admit mistakes. They can ask questions, offer new thinking without fearing humiliation. Healthy leaders don't avoid difficult conversations either. They create environments where difficult conversations happen respectfully, because growth requires honesty, innovation requires honesty, improvement requires honesty, because without emotional safety, organizations slowly stop learning, because people will start hiding their ideas. You do not want an organization where the team is silent. You do not want to lead an organization where the team is lock-lipped. You're in problem. You are in problem because you will not know everything. Thank you, Samay, for joining. So imagine two principals observing a classroom. Two principals observing a classroom. Both notice weaknesses. The first principal walks into the staff room afterwards and criticizes the teacher publicly. The room becomes silent. Nobody speaks. Everyone is thinking, I'm glad it wasn't me. The second principal quietly invites the teacher into the office. The conversations begin differently. You've got many strengths. Now let's talk about one area where I think you can make your teaching even stronger. The teacher will walk away from that meeting encouraged, feeling motivated, committed to improving. Now my question, which principle created a better teacher? Based on that scenario, which principle created a better teacher? Is it the one who humiliated the teacher in front of the entire staff? Or is it the one who called the teacher and have that professional dialogue? I like the strength of the lesson, and also I like the areas that needs developing. Which teacher will grow? And which teacher will become a better teacher? Definitely would have to be the one who wasn't humiliated. Most people, they're not afraid of constructive criticism. It's how it is done. It is how it is done, and there's a way of doing it. Now, can I ask every leader watching tonight something deeply personal? Blue Bougie, thank you for joining. You're watching Leadership Unscripted. Our topic for tonight, we're talking about healthy and unhealthy leadership. Well, thank you for joining. Raising Kiko, thank you for joining as well. Our topic for tonight, healthy and unhealthy leadership. Please share the live for me. Thank you for joining. Now, can I ask every leader watching tonight something deeply personal? When people walk into your office, what emotion do they experience first? Hey. When people walk into your office, what emotion do they experience first? Do they experience relief, confidence, safety, respect, or anxiety? Think carefully. I'm thinking too. Because leadership isn't only measured by the results people produce. Tiana, thank you for joining. Leadership isn't only measured by the results people produce. Leadership is also measured by the emotional environment people experience while producing those results. Leadership is measured by the emotional environment people experience while producing those results. So if people are constantly afraid, innovation will suffer, honesty suffers, learning suffers, and eventually the culture suffers. And we don't want that. We definitely don't want that. So from the Leadership Library tonight, I'm going to be this book, The Psychology of Fragility. Let me let it stand right here. The Psychology of Fragility. Now, one of the central ideas in this book is that fragile leadership often creates fragile systems. Not intentionally, but inevitably. Fragile leaders struggle to trust. So they micromanage. Fragile leaders struggle with criticism. So they silence disagreement. Fragile leaders fear failure. So they stop taking healthy risks. Over time, the organization doesn't simply reflect the leader's strength. It begins reflecting the leader's unresolved weaknesses. Emotionally secure leaders build something very different. They create trust. They create ownership. They create resilience, learning, and hope. Because guess what? The greatest gift a leader can give an organization isn't another strategic plan. No, it's becoming a healthier human being. Someone who your team is happy to function around. Someone who doesn't drive fear in your team. That's the leader people want to be around. That's the leader people want to be around. So if I was supposed to ask you for one quality every healthy leader should possess, what's one quality would you give me? Cohen, thank you for joining. If I was supposed to ask you what's one quality Chen, thank you for joining. If I was supposed to ask you, what's one quality every healthy leader should possess? I'm sure I'm going to hear words such as humility, integrity, consistency, empathy, self-awareness, courage, and they should be somebody who listen. Thank you, Dr. P. Empathy. And they should listen. Notice something in all those words I've listed. Not one of those qualities appears on a balance sheet. Yet every one of them determines whether people want to stay at the organization or quietly begin looking for another place to work. When people come to work, they don't come to work to be emotionally embarrassed, to become emotionally stressed, to operate in fear. People don't come to work for that. People thrive when the leader ensures their psychological safety. When there's clear communication. When they trust the leader and they know the leader trusts them. When the team collaborate. Those are the environment people want to work in. So can I leave you with this thought? Organizations are like mirrors. Organizations are like mirrors. Eventually, they reflect the emotional health of their leaders. If leaders refuse accountability, the organization avoids accountability. If the leader refuses growth, the organization stops growing. If leaders become emotionally unhealthy, what do you think is going to happen? But if leaders become emotionally healthy, the organization receives permission to become healthier too. Culture doesn't change because leaders demand it. Culture changes because leaders demonstrate it in their actions daily. Rona Booker, thank you for joining. You're on Leadership Unscripted. Now, the quote for tonight. Your organization will eventually resemble the conversations you normalize, the behaviors you tolerate, and the character you consistently demonstrate. Let me go again. Your organization will eventually resemble the conversations you normalize, the behaviors you tolerate, and the character you consistently demonstrate. Because every leader is shaping culture, whether they intend to or not. Whether they intend to or not. So again, if you're just joining our topic for tonight, you can't build a healthy organization with unhealthy leaders. So we've been talking about something that sits at the heart of every successful organization. Not strategy, not budgets, not technology, not buildings, but leadership. Because organizations don't wake up one morning and suddenly become healthy. They become healthy because leaders make hundreds of intentional decisions to create trust. And organizations don't suddenly become toxic either. Toxicity usually begins quietly. One leader who avoids accountability. One leader who refuses feedback. One leader who leads through fear instead of trust. One leader who mistakes control for strength. Over time, those behaviors become normal. People adjust, culture changes, and eventually, an entire organization begins reflecting the emotional health or emotional struggles of the people leading it. Always remember that. And that's why this conversation isn't about fixing any organization. It isn't. It's about healing leadership. It's about healthy organizations. Because healthy organizations don't begin with better policies. They don't. They begin with healthier people. So tonight in the principal's chair, I want you to pretend as if you are a principal. Imagine this. You've just been appointed principal of a school that has struggled for years. Teachers are exhausted. Staff turnover is high. Parents have lost confidence. Welcome, Peaches. Students are disengaged. As you walk through the corridors, you notice something. People aren't talking. Teachers quickly close classroom doors. Meetings are painfully quiet. Nobody volunteers ideas. Every decision is met with polite agreement. But after every meeting, the real conversations happen in the car park, where everyone says nothing ever changes. During your first staff meeting, however, you stand before the team. Everyone expects another speech, another improvement plan, another list of expectations, but instead, you say something unexpected. You said, before we talk about improving this school, I need to begin with myself. The room becomes silent, so you continue. I won't promise perfection, but I will promise something else. If I make a mistake, I'll own it. If you disagree with me, I'll listen. If we fail, we learn together. Then you say something nobody expected you to say. Culture doesn't change because leaders demand it. Culture changes when leaders demonstrate it. Months pass, you don't renovate the building, you don't increase the budget, you don't replace the staff. Instead, you begin changing the way you lead. You listen more, you blame less, you admit mistakes publicly, you celebrate growth. You ask questions before giving answers. Slowly, teachers begin speaking again. Meetings become longer, not because people are complaining, but because people are thinking. Collaboration returns, innovation returns, hope returns. 1 year later, visitors walk into the school and say, this place feels different. What do you think changed? What do you think changed? In all of that scenario, after a year, when visitors walk into your school that you were just appointed principal to a year ago, the comment is, this place feels different. The only thing that changed is the leader leading a different way. The leader shaped the culture she wanted by modeling the expected behavior. And how was that done? How was that done? How was that done? The leader started listening more. She didn't blame anybody. Mistakes were admitted publicly. Growth was celebrated. You asked questions before giving answers. And that resulted in teachers start speaking up. Meetings become longer. People stop complaining. People start thinking. Collaboration returns and innovation returns. And because of that, the entire culture of that school changed. So when people walk into the school, they are going to see the difference. They're going to feel the difference. They're going to feel the difference. And that's why if you're a school leader, sometimes when inspectors walk into your school, they know when the culture is healthy. They know. They know when the culture is staged, and they know when the culture is authentic. They know. They know. Trust me, they know. Thank you for joining, Shay. Now, can I tell you something? Every organization eventually becomes a reflection of what leadership repeatedly models. If leaders gossip, people gossip. If leaders blame, people will blame. If leaders avoid accountability, people start avoiding accountability. But the opposite is equally true. If leaders demonstrate humility, humility spreads. If leaders consistently tell the truth, trust grows. If leaders remain calm during pressure, resilience spread. Culture isn't created by accident. It's created by repetition. Every conversation. Good night, forever blessed. Thank you for joining. Make sure you share the live. And make sure you like this platform. And make sure you join this platform as well. So culture isn't created by accident. It's created by repetition. Through every conversation, through every decision, every reaction, every ordinary day. Because leaders are constantly teaching people what normal looks like. So here's a personal reflection. One of the greatest lessons leadership has taught me is that I can never ask an organization to become something that I'm unwilling to become myself. So if I want reflective teachers, I must be a reflective leader. If I want accountability, I must model accountability. If I want people to admit mistakes, they must first hear me admit mine. That's uncomfortable, yes, very uncomfortable. Because leadership constantly holds up a mirror. It asks difficult questions. Am I creating the environment I wish existed? Or am I unintentionally contributing to the very problems I'm trying to solve? I've learned something. People don't expect leaders to know everything, but they do hope leaders are growing. The most influential leaders aren't those who pretend they've arrived. They're the ones who keep becoming. They're the ones who keep becoming. They are the ones who keep becoming. So here's my final reflection for tonight. Welcome, Kaisha. Welcome, Island Girl. As we come to the end of tonight's conversation, I want you to imagine two organizations. The first has an impressive strategic plan, beautiful values, modern technology, excellent facilities, but unhealthy leadership. Fear fills always, trust is low, people survive, they don't thrive. The second organization isn't perfect. Challenges still exist, resources are limited, pressure is real, but the leaders are emotionally healthy. They listen, they apologize, they develop others, they protect trust. People feel safe enough to grow. Now ask yourself, which organization has the brighter future? The answer isn't found in budget. It's found in the health of the people leading it. Because organizations rarely outperform the character of their leader for very long. Eventually, leadership always leaves fingerprints on culture. The only question is, what kind of fingerprints are we leaving behind? What kind of fingerprint are we leaving behind? So in closing, I want to thank you for joining me tonight on Leadership Unscripted. So if tonight's conversation challenged you, don't begin by trying to transform your organization. Don't do that. Begin by asking how you're allowing your own leadership to be transformed. Because healthy cultures aren't built through speeches. They're built through consistent examples. Healthy cultures aren't built through speeches. They're built through consistent conversations. So if tonight's episode encouraged you, share it with a leader. Because every organization deserves leaders who understand that culture isn't inherited. It's cultivated, one healthy decision at a time. So my final words, one emotionally healthy leader can change the direction of an entire organization. One emotionally unhealthy leader can slowly change it too. So before asking why your culture isn't changing, ask whether your leadership is. Before demanding greater trust, demonstrate greater trustworthiness. Before expecting honesty, create safety for honesty. Before asking people to grow, let them see you growing. Because organizations don't become healthy because leaders say the right things. They become healthy because leaders repeatedly do the right things. Healthy leadership doesn't guarantee a perfect organization, but it creates an organization where people can face imperfect circumstances with courage, integrity, hope, and trust. And that's where lasting excellence begins. So until next time, lead yourself first. What did I say? Lead yourself first. Grow continuously. Serve faithfully. And remember, you can't build a healthy organization with unhealthy leaders, because broken leadership eventually breaks culture. Broken leadership eventually breaks culture. Thank you so very much. That's it for Leadership Unscripted tonight.
Life is too beautiful, my friend. Hold up your head and come again. Don't let nobody drain your energy. Life can get lonely, but sometimes you don't need nobody. People gonna say all kind of things about you, but you know if you pay.
And if you're on the live and you've not yet gotten a copy of The Psychology of Fragility, it's available on Amazon. Please get your copy. It's available on Amazon. And if you're in the Cayman Islands, please reach out to me. Or if you know Wellies, they're available at Wellies as well for purchase. If you're in the Cayman Islands. Thank you very much.
Don't you pay them no mind. Lots of them believe or try to doubt you. I know, but you know if you make them, don't make them waste your time. No matter what you do, you can't please people. I tried it too many times before. Them only smile, them turn around, judge me. Some even push me to the floor. Cause if you make them mislead you, you have a sorry when them no need you. Cut them off if you need to. Cause when you kill you, will surely bill you. Hey, no matter what nobody say.
Yes, God is good.
Yeah, I'm going to leave with this one.
He is
Christopher
good.
Martin's rendition.
I just want to thank you so much for doing it. Yeah?
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my day, I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head.
Hey, good night. Good night.
Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. Yes, every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. You know I love your voice.
Yeah, man. You know what's there.
Oh, you have led me through the fire in darkness and night. You are close like no other. You know I've known you as a father. You know I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. Whoa. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good and so good. Every breath that
whole thing, you know. Wake me up in the morning. And the guy said, no, I can't say God great and good.
Alright everyone, have a wonderful night. See you tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Same place, same time.